Lesson, we'll learn how to create a tileable brick pattern. Alright, so in the previous lesson we worked to add some curved lines to our line work. Now, in between lessons I've done quite a bit of work when it comes to color here. If you remember back when we were working on our fire hydrant, we started by adding flat color, and I really, to be honest, haven't taken this much further than that. So you can see that I have started to color in some of the line work, and I've actually started to add in a little bit of additional detail here down in the concrete, and added a staircase and a little sidewalk here as well as a front door. So let's come over here and talk about adding a brick pattern to this building, because I feel like this is probably like a red brick building, and I think that it might suit us well to develop some sort of pattern that we can tile all across these walls and really just spread this pattern around really quickly. So I tell you what, I've gone ahead and created a layer here called bricks, and we're going to work on that layer here now. So let's go ahead and zoom in here sort of to the right below the color palette I've been using. So I'm going to come down here and let's go ahead and just draw in our basic 2 to 1 ratio stepping line. Just going to draw in a little bit small line here to work from. Alright, that'll work for right now. We'll zoom in nice and close on that. Now remember, this is the basic format that we established when we began drawing this building in isometric projection, or with isometric pixel art. So we need to make sure our brick pattern conforms to this 2 to 1 scale. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and maybe just grab a different color here. Let's just grab a red for right now. And let's come in and see what kind of bricks we might be able to draw that conform to this pattern. So I'm going to come in here and let's go ahead and just draw in maybe a square there, and a square there, and maybe a half a square there. So let's go ahead and outline that really quick. Just like so. We'll come in and add one more pixel right there. And let's see if maybe this is a pattern that we can take and we can tile throughout and make cover this entire little area right here. So I'm going to grab my lasso tool and let's go ahead and just select this brick right here. And I'm going to make a copy of that. Just like so. And let's go ahead and swing that up next to this brick, right about there. Let me go ahead and grab another copy and swing it up right about there. And that looks like a pattern that's going to be tileable right there. Now, we do need to worry about the second row of these bricks. So let me go ahead and put one more brick right there. And let's go ahead and make another copy down here. Now, obviously, the next row of bricks isn't going to be sitting right underneath these bricks, right there, just like that. That wouldn't be realistic. We know that if we've ever looked at a brick wall, that the bricks are offset a little bit. So maybe we could just offset these bricks a little bit. Let's maybe put one, we could put one there, or we could put one there, and it would still be offset. So it's not quite a 50-50 offset, but it's enough to where there is a little break in that repetition, and it's a noticeable break. So I'm going to come over here and tile in some more bricks for this row. And let's go back to the original pattern with this third row. Just like so. Looks like we got off a pixel there, so we'll go ahead and just nudge that up. And then we'll come down and do one more row with this second pattern. Now, keep in mind that I've filled this with two colors. We've got a black outline and we've got bright red bricks. And I did that for a reason, because in thinking about this and how we're going to apply this brick pattern to our building here, we could either apply it, one, with the outline here, or two, with the fill of the bricks. So in creating a different pattern here, we're basically giving ourselves two options for applying this brick pattern. Now that I have that four row pattern created, let's go ahead and see if we can tile this pattern here. See how difficult that'll be. So let me go ahead and just make a copy of this. I'm going to drag it over here, and so we could snap it right in there, but we've got some extra lines that are overlapping that we probably don't need. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and undo that, and let's go ahead and shave some of these lines off here. Now, thinking about the lines that we have over here, we could probably get rid of this right here. This stroke all along the left side for the most part. right about to, I would say right about there. Let's go ahead and lasso that up now and see if this is a tileable pattern. We've still got one extra piece there, but with the exception of that one piece at the top, that pattern fits together pretty seamlessly. So let's go ahead and undo that. We'll erase this one last piece right here, and let's go ahead and separate these two colors here. Let me go ahead and deselect that and zoom out just a little bit. Now, in order to separate these, we could go ahead and use select and color range, then sample one of those two colors, but I know for a fact that I've got black over here that we'll probably pick up on, and we may even have some red. So let's just go ahead and grab our magic wand tool with the keyboard shortcut W, and let's just go ahead and hold shift, and we're going to sample just the red here. And just with a few clicks, we can sample only the red pixels in this pattern. Alright, so we've got those selected. We'll switch over to our selection tool now, and we'll just drag those down below. So now we've got two different patterns here that we can tile either one of these. Let me go ahead and make sure we can tile the fill here. Yep, that'll tile. So we can tile either one of these patterns to create a brick pattern on our walls. Now, let me go ahead and just fill these with black here. Now, these are a couple great examples of things you might want to save as a custom brush so you could use on a future project. So you might keep that in mind. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and lasso one of these up and we'll make a copy of it, and let's go ahead and begin tiling in some bricks. So I won't probably get through this entire wall in this lesson, but you can see here how it's really simple to just come in and we'll drop a tile there, drop one there. Actually, that's off just a pixel. Go over a couple there. Now, all we really need to do here is get one solid row, because once we've got one row, then we can tile this entire row. So as soon as we reach the end of this row, we'll just duplicate it on down this wall. So let's go ahead and hit that over a couple more times. Now we're going to have a little bit to erase because the pattern's not going to fit completely onto this wall. So let's go ahead and just use our marquee selection tool and delete these extra pixels right here. Alright, so you can see here we've got our row, and I believe we're still working on our bricks layer. So the only thing we have on this layer are the patterns over here that we worked on and this information here. So let's just grab our lasso tool. We'll lasso that entire row up, and then we'll zoom in and we'll tile that down. You want to make sure that stroke ends up on top of the previous row. Just like so. And with these bricks on their own layer, we can come in and change the color of this pattern to whatever color matches this wall. If we want this to be maybe a pale yellow mortar color, then we could change it to that. If we want it to be maybe even a deep red or a burgundy color, we can change it to that. This is because these are on their own layer. We're not going to affect the color underneath that. So we're going to sample that down one more time. Let's drop it right about there. That should cover our wall. Now, we've also covered a lot of our windows. So at this point, what I would probably do is I'd probably come in here and by hand I would erase this pattern away from our windows, or mask it out, whichever you prefer. Obviously, we're not going to need this brick pattern over here on our roof. So, but again, because this is on its own layer, we have the freedom to do whatever we like with that. So you can see there is our tiled pattern. There's no mistakes in it. It looks like a brick wall. Hopefully that'll help you out in your own workflow. Now, this by no means is the only pattern you can use for a brick wall. Think about all the different types of bricks there are out there, and maybe you develop a pattern that isn't going to cover the entire wall. Maybe you only use it in places. So think about that. Maybe in between lessons, try experimenting in developing your own brick pattern. And when you come back, we're going to learn a little bit about creative dithering to create textures.